Hey guys, it's Viral, just coming with a follow-up from my previous video. The tutorial has been going pretty well so far. We are just about to come back to K-Leg. We have had a decent amount of ships in our immediate area that we've been looking at. And we've gotten some stuff, and I was just kind of following up on those early tips. Things that will help net you some profit. So let me go ahead and focus up on docking here, and then we'll get to talking. Cool. That was pretty close to becoming moon dust. So you can see out of the original starter ship, which consisted of, practically this shape. You can see that I tore a hole here, added a door, and then added on some stuff. I found a pattern of, pretty contiguous flooring that went together from another ship, ripped it out, put it in here. You can see that I found 3 Hydra intakes. I don't think they do that much other than letting you hook up a massive amount of nitrogen to be able to use for fuel. I'm not sure if they can all 3 tap into this one. Would be interesting if they do. I think they do, because you can see that one's empty, whereas these other ones still have ones left. So I think it's ones that are shared will be taken from first. I do have one main battery that's plugged directly into the grid, and then you can see that I have 2 other batteries hooked up to switches. Now, the benefit of this is that in about 4 hours, this battery depletes. And so when I'm out and about and my batteries turn off, everything in here stays pressurized. I just have to prop this door open with my crowbar. And then come over here, flick a switch, and then I have 4 more hours. So in total, I have about 12 hours of battery life that I can mess with, and I just pulled off another pretty good on wear battery. Always make sure that you keep them topped up, because as the battery's wear decreases, the charge, also, the max charge gets smaller as well. I got a battery charger here for a Weber. I'm still hunting this. This is like the big peak first item that you want, because it essentially makes everything that you do, repairing, dismantling, all that's just going to be faster. So, good to find that. You can see that I did pull a reactor from something. One of these pieces is pristine, which means it has greater quote-unquote value, so we'll see what that actually looks like, even with it being a little bit damaged. But in the first video that we were talking about, I made the claim, hey, you might want to look at getting hacking, because there's some things you can get with PDA cards. This Salvage cartridge itself usually sells, depending on its condition, for like 10,000 plus, and so that's a pretty good pool. I think they disabled your ability to sell permits even if they are valid, so this one is still valid until 9/1. And then, like I said, the PDA's here. You can see, hey, they're only $2 marks there, but if I go into these pair of pants I have in this backpack, I found a lot. And so we're going to compare selling PDAs versus, selling a full-on reactor core. I would even say that these core liners are better finds, because they sell for 3 to 5 thousand each. So let's go ahead and go. I've just been using the main trade station. Some of you may be aware there is like a little bit of a black market secondary dealer you can go to, but it's something that just requires a lot of social interaction spam to be able to get to that level, and I'm not about that right now. So you can see, I'm just going to top up some stuff. We did have about 6 grand in fuel, so I mean, right now we're looking at paying off $700 to $300. That is not in addition to how much we've been paying off on the ship itself, so you can see we are sitting at a net positive right now. Pretty happy, $383,000. Had some decent finds. I think the constant, it's been about coming back and either selling about $100,000 worth of stuff or $50,000 worth of stuff, and just making sure that you're looking at that. So I did split up the ship a little bit more into some zones so that we can focus on the selling. And so we'll do the first zone. Again, it's just cans. And if I come in here and sell all these cans, you can see nitrogen and low pressure and low condition oxygen don't sell that well, so it's about $800. Nitrogen is probably the worst, but you can see that's just $14,000 in and of itself, right? There's people pulling off pumps, and those are 1x3s, and so if you pull off 3 cans, I think that you can get a little bit more value for your money. So I'm going to go ahead and sell those. My engineering spaces, this is where I have these core liners. You can see that the worn one had a bunch of gunk on it, brown stuff, brown looking stuff. So that's $1,800 itself, and then $3,000 for the other 4 that I have. So again, that's another 12 grand. So I'm going to go ahead and sell that. Next, let's just look at the reactor and get that one out of the way. I think I was holding on to a spare nitrogen tank in my engineering area. So let's say that's $4,500 for 1/4 of the reactor. So you uninstall it, splits into 4 pieces. Let's see, can I go to... Where's the pristine one? Okay, you can see that here. Its condition being about 50% does put it down in value. So maybe we can go out and repair it and see what we would get difference-wise. But that's something to just be aware of. $4,600 for 2 pieces of a reactor. I think my other part of the reactor is a little bit further away, so it's not going to pick up on it because it's not in a zone. But that's only $9,000 for just those 2 pieces. Let me go in and pull up my book bag. And you can see here, like, the Tarkov backpack span is real. There's some of these suits, like the damaged ones, I'm just going to sell. Pressure root suits, toss them. I'm selling this whole backpack, actually, because it's also trashed, and I just hate how the trashed backpacks look. There's my one. I'm just collecting a lot of patches for a rainy day. So here's my phone backpack. So here, I was going to sell the handgun, the pressure suit. I think we're going to do this because we're not doing high G maneuvers yet. This blue permit, even though it's valid, they still don't want it, so that's interesting. And then let's go ahead and sell the book. And like I said, this Price Viz one, even though it's 70%, still sells for $30,000. So that's my big recommendation for why we take hacking. Let me go back into there. I wanted to open up that pair of pants and basically say, hey, if we take this whole pair of pants and look at selling it, right now you can see the phones themselves are not worth much. It's what happens when you open it up, because they have files in them. So this one, incriminating hidden camera footage of a saucy tryst, including a local leader. That's worth $5,000. And it's essentially saying that the shop is willing to pay that much, because then it gives them, quote unquote, lower leverage over it. But they also come with these cartridges, of which nothing to sneeze at. But as you can see, when we go down here, you usually end up getting about 3,000 to 7,000 per. So there's a Price Viz. It's a pretty bad one. It's at 16% quality or repair durability. I don't think you can repair them up. I think it only gives you the option to bash them. But here's one where you can see it's starting to take off. This phone in and of itself would give us $50,000. And so that is the main reason that I take hacking on my playthroughs, just to make sure that you get up to speed as fast as you can. You can start paying off a debt. You can accidentally get incriminated or get sent to jail, anything like that. So this is really the evidence for that. I just wanted to make sure I followed up on that first video. It seemed like it was doing well. So let me go ahead and start let's go up here. We can toggle all that. I didn't look at the number. But if I say that I want to sell this whole pair of pants, in total, that's $120,000 just with that, and it's, I want to say, 12 phones. Then we have this one here that I didn't even think it just didn't fit in the pants. So that's $120,000 just from actual PDAs. So again, that's my big reason for including that as one of those hints to say this is pretty good. You should go try this. So all in all, once you start getting to the point where you are positive on cash flow, you're not really as worried. Some of the things I do also want to show is that when you start enhancing your ship, and this is some things that other people do, is they go in and retrofit their current ship to be able to flip it, essentially. You can come over here to the ship broker, which is in the commercial section, and you can look at selling your own ship. So you can see, based on everything that I've put on it, it separates it into rooms, of which I have an engineering room here, and an engineering room there, and then the bridge. You can see that they'd be willing to pay $1 million for the ship. And so that million, in combined with my 500,000, puts me positive. I still owe I want to say about $800,000 on it. If I pull this up, I don't remember where I can see it. It's the prepay. Do I have to go to the next shift? No, there's usually the option to prepay your mortgage. Not seeing that here. So, regardless, you can look at that and then look at actually buying another ship, whether you start with a little shuttle and you want to move on to a freighter like what we started with, or if you wanted to start looking at other things. There's a lot of different ships here that you can do. Either use it as a template or an idea to look at something, or when you are out and about, keep an eye on the names of some of these derelicts that you're going out to that might have good bones to be able to come back and buy. So all in all, that's really what this comes down to. And so if you go to the ship rating, this is what kind of helps you understand what makes the price of your ship go up, although it doesn't say it intrinsically. It's the amount of rooms, it's the type of equipment, it's the quality or the durability of everything. So if it's more repaired, which I had plenty of free time, I was able to repair it up pretty well. To that note, though, the one thing that I know that a lot of people don't like is that sometimes you arrive at a derelict and there will automatically just be a pirate on board. And if you don't know this, the pirate, when your ships spawn together, it's like, oh hey, I'm low on air. I need to go into his ship so I can actually take my helmet off. And it's like, no, you can get out of your pilot seat, go over and kind of lock your door real fast, and then they just kind of die. I don't know if that's very pacifisty of me, but that's something to. They usually always have a phone on them, so I see that as net cash flow. And so then all I do is come over here and I look at the shop, the store, to see if they do end up selling a Weber. That laser torch is going to be the big thing that helps keep your run going strong. But in all reality, I'm doing well for myself. I have my engineering backpack here, which still has all my tools. Found some flasks. I found an actual gun with ammo, so if I do need to fight something, I can. I got battery chargers on board, and so we're doing pretty well for ourselves. The other big thing is getting an actual CO2 scrubber on your ship, because it automatically starts filtering out the CO2 in the ship, so you don't need to come back and prop your ship doors open for it to be able to actually exchange that CO2 away into the actual stationaire itself. So we are getting we're getting more set up. I think the next steps are either going to be including a little bit more space, some flooring in this bottom right section, trying to keep it as squarish as I can. I know I'm not a Borg, but the point in saying that is the next big upgrade for us would be to get a full-fledged reactor room. We're actually generating our own power at that point, but that's also it's a hidden trap, because the refuelable things, the heavy water, the deuterium, and the cryo, those are things that start getting a lot more costly when you start pulling into a station and saying, hey, I want to refill on this stuff. So if you're not already kind of set up with that cash net flow in a positive direction, and you're maybe like, hey, I can't afford that, or I found a tank that was basically empty, you kind of need to be prepared to start supporting that. But then you're effectively never going to need to worry about your batteries again. That also introduces a torch drive system, which can get you out of the planets. If you don't want to do any of that, you just want to kind of explore, check out the ferry services or I believe it's the pass. You can automatically go to these other planets. You just need some money for it, but it's interesting. The first time I went to Venus, I went there manually, and it was definitely a trip. Super happy they took off that meteors can hit your ship while you're doing that stuff, because you could basically die because you're doing times 16 like super fast forwards. But yeah, if there's anything you want to know, go ahead and ask, and I'll see if I can post another update vid whenever I start changing the ship. I think what I'm waiting for right now is just seeing if we can see the true value difference between a pristine reactor core and a regular reactor core. Oh yeah, if you're also not aware, you can double click the play button to make it go back to 1x speed. That's usually a lot easier than clicking the slowdown, or if you hold in Alt, you can see what keybinds you have. So like my brackets are faster and slower. Some people do the carets as well. So yeah. Alright, so if we look at this, a pristine reactor nets you about $1,100, so it's like a little bit more worthwhile. I don't think there'd be any reason to get a fully pristine reactor core. Those things also weigh 400 kilograms, and we're just kind of towing them around. But yeah, that's about it. Hope you've been enjoying 1.0. I sure have, and see you in the next one.